You won't believe what happened on Family Feud that day. Something unpredictable happened. Something so shocking that for several long seconds, the entire studio stopped breathing. No laughter, no clapping, just silence. And right in the middle of that silence was a little boy. At first, the boy didn't seem like anything out of the ordinary. A child walking onto the stage? It happens all the time. We've seen it before. Sometimes they're shy, sometimes they're excited, always cute. But this time was different. As the boy walked towards Steve Harvey, something about him caught Steve's attention. It wasn't the usual playful energy. No smile. No excitement. The boy just walked forward, slowly, and stopped right in front of Steve. For a moment, Steve Harvey just stared at the boy, trying to understand why this was happening. What did the boy want? Steve didn't know. But as he leaned forward, he saw it. The boy's expression wasn't excited. It wasn't nervous. It was something else, something that felt calculated, like he had been waiting for this moment for a very, very long time. "Hey there, little man, what's your name?" Steve asked with a gentle smile, trying to make this moment lighthearted. The audience chuckled softly. It was all so normal, so predictable. But then, Steve asked a question that changed everything. "So tell me, why did you want to come up here today?" For a long second, the boy said nothing. He just stared down at the floor, as the entire studio seemed to lean forward in anticipation. It was like the clock had stopped. Then, the boy finally spoke. His voice was quiet, but what he said sent a chill through the room. "I didn't come here for a joke. I didn't come here to be on TV. I came here because of my dad." Suddenly, the energy in the room shifted. Everyone fell silent. The cameras, the crew, they all knew something monumental was happening. Something real, something emotional. Steve's smile faded as he leaned in, sensing that the boy wasn't finished. "Your dad?" Steve asked quietly, a hint of confusion in his voice. "Why would you come here because of your dad?" The boy's face stayed serious, his eyes now looking directly at Steve. "Because my dad wanted to see me do something brave," the boy said, his voice trembling slightly. The room fell completely still. The audience, who had been laughing and clapping moments ago, was now eerily quiet, their faces frozen in anticipation. The boy's words hit them like a ton of bricks. But the boy wasn't finished yet. He continued, looking up at Steve with wide eyes. "He wanted me to do something that would make people listen, something that would make people remember me." There was a long pause. Steve nodded, trying to understand the weight of the boy's words. But just as he was about to respond, the boy paused. The silence was deafening. And then, in a soft, almost hesitant voice, the boy said the words no one expected. "But my dad can't watch today." The entire room froze. No one moved. Steve's face went pale. He already knew where this was going. His heart dropped. He understood the weight of what the boy had just said. "My dad passed away a few months ago." The words lingered in the air like a heavy fog, suffocating the entire studio. The audience sat in stunned silence, many of them wiping tears from their eyes. Steve Harvey, the man who has made millions laugh, the man who was known for his quick comebacks and infectious energy, now sat completely still, processing what he had just heard. The boy explained that his father had always told him that one day he should stand on a stage like this. He wanted to make his father proud. But now that his dad wasn't there, the boy had come to keep a promise. A promise he made to his father.
"But why did you come here to do this, little man?" Steve asked, his voice barely a whisper. The boy looked up at him, his eyes full of innocence yet full of wisdom at the same time. And then, he said something that shocked everyone in the room. "Because my dad believed that even small voices could change the world." Steve Harvey's eyes widened. His lips parted, but no words came out. He was stunned, overwhelmed with emotion. This was real. This was something so much deeper than anything that had ever happened on the show. "And I want to prove that today." And with that, Steve Harvey sat back, speechless. The audience, who had been silent, slowly began to rise to their feet, applauding. But it wasn't just applause. It was an acknowledgement of the power of the human spirit. The power of a child who stood on stage not for fame, not for attention, but for a promise to a father he had loved. And for the first time that night, Steve Harvey didn't have a joke. He didn't have a witty comeback. He didn't need one. Because sometimes the most powerful moments aren't the loudest ones. They are the quiet ones, the ones that come from the heart, the ones that leave us speechless. Sometimes, the most moving moments in life happen when we least expect them. And that day, a little boy stood on a stage and reminded us that bravery doesn't always look loud. Sometimes, it looks like a child fulfilling a promise.